So obviously, this was the recording from obviously a live session. So we've already both seen the gameplay and we both know what happened. But we'll go over kind of some of the things that I wanted to go in more detail with you,
For sure.
just so that we've got the time. Right. So here, this was fine. I do like that to start E if you want to short trades at level 1.
Yeah, I kind of tried it.
Yeah, it's good. It's like people just go Q all the time, like for no reason.
Yeah.
But what we were saying is what you want to do is if you're not leashing, what you actually want to do, let me just open. In these situations, do you know how to stall the wave for a slow push level 1?
I believe so.
Okay,
Like,
so
kind of, probably,
yeah, so the thing with top lane is a lot of the strength and power of top lane is all based around the minions. Now, obviously you can't do it as much in mid lane because the lane's way shorter, so you can't really build up as much of like a slow push, but in top lane and bot lane you can, but obviously bot lane is determined by the support too, so it's harder. Whereas top lane, it's entirely based on you. So like understanding the power of a slow push and how to use them is one of the main things that I think you're just not really appreciating right now as a top laner, and it's giving you a lot of problems. So the thing you do is you come here, then you stall the wave at this point. They'll come in an even line, but the back ones won't start doing damage until they kind of formulate. So what will happen is this one will just come up to here, and then you'll have one come round like this, another come round, and then the 3 will go back here. Now as soon as they get in this position, it means that these 3 are doing damage. So as soon as they focus you, what you want to do is you want to jump in the bush to reset aggro, and then because the next wave is still coming up in a line of 6, all 3 of these will target this one. Every time, if you do it right with the timing. So because this one gets targeted, it gets basically almost instantly killed, which then if they pull, means that you end up with a 1 minion XP advantage, and also, you then get a slow push into you too, which this is good 9 times out of 10. I mean, I would even potentially go to 10 out of 10 because it's a case of if you're in a matchup that you're in a losing matchup, it will you can hold it back and you'll be safe, yeah. Or if you're in a matchup where you hard stomp, you can pull it back, hold it, and then just basically kill them, and you just permanently win the lane off that.
Sure,
Yeah. So one thing you'll actually find, and this is one of the things I get when I'm coaching people, in like Masters, Grandmaster, Challenger, is a lot of the times when they go against these kind of pro players in coaching sessions, what will actually happen is they'll mess up their wave state once in, say, top lane, and then their game is just over. Like it's so difficult to recover in top lane, which even in Challenger it's difficult to recover. So in these elos, you can basically just hard win the game off these simple things at level 1,
Right.
So one of the next kind of mistakes that we make here is even here, we're kind of playing the lane like we're melee into melee, but into a gangplank, we're not melee into melee, we're melee into semi-ranged. So we have to kind of play the lane more so like we're into a ranged matchup. And then when you do need to, say, last hit your minions, what you want to do is these will drop low at the same time. Because we've taken E, we can walk up, threaten an E, and then either stun him, get it, and then kill our minions, or kill our minions, then stun. Depends on, if he backs away when you use that initial E or not. So we can do that to kind of make sure that we do get those minions so that we won't lose level 2. So here, this was fine. So nice short trades. But then here, see? So straight after this, we have no minions to last hit right now.
Yeah.
And we just walk up.
Thinking of like Q. Yeah, but I wouldn't have it really yet.
Or if you want to get pressure like that, just come in the bush and stand here. Because then he won't see us as well. So he doesn't know. Like, especially, this is something that is very beneficial in low healers as well. Because players don't even know the cooldowns of their own abilities. Never mind yours. So he's not going to know the cooldown of your E 9 times out of 10. Because he's platinum. So we end up in a position there that he might think we've got our E when we don't. And vice versa. But so here, like, all we're looking for is to make sure that the minions are in a kind of even state. So even like here, these autos that we're getting into it, the minions will do all the work for us. We don't need to worry too much.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're just taking 3 damage, which isn't the worst on Irelia, because we do have our Q soon, but... And here, so what? Yeah, what do you think is the problem there? Yeah.
So I didn't think it was gonna hit, and then it hit, and I got excited, and then I went in.
Okay, but that's not the problem. What do you think is the problem there?
Yeah, he's passive, and he's getting level 2 soon.
Okay, and that's on a 17, 18 second cooldown.
Mm-hmm.
What's gonna happen within 18 seconds of this moment, or 16 seconds of this moment?
Yeah, I'm gonna be dead.
No. No? Well, what's going to happen within 18 seconds? If we didn't go for this, what's going to happen? Like, within these 80 seconds. Like, it'll actually happen in more or less about, I'd say, 3 or 4 seconds.
I just killed him with level 2.
Yeah. You're about to hit level 2. So, you're using your E, which has a very large cooldown, when you're just about to hit level 2, instead of when you do hit level 2. So, now you're in a situation where... he can actually trade back with you, and we've just really griefed it there.
Yep.
So patience is extremely important, especially in top lane, because there's sometimes where you'll want to kill, but you can't. And now we're forced away from the wave at level 2, where we have a huge power spike. Okay, so this trade. So right here, So, the problem here is that we get this one, but then we have this one too. So we should have probably just popped this anyway to try and get out of his barrel. Actually, no, his barrel was still on 3 ticks. So his barrel doesn't really influence this fight. But here, so we get in, autos, and now we queue back.
I queue back.
Yeah, like we got really impatient. So even queuing back in the barrel is like not too bad, you know, because he would probably hit you with this one anyway. But when we've done that, we should have instead just used that Q to come back to safety, and then we can heal up off these minions again and then go on him again when we've got our E. Yeah.
Level 3 with time warp too, so it's just like that time warp saved him so hard.
Yeah.
Man.
And that flash, like, it was so great by him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was kind of the problem here. We had a really big trade window, and then instead of accepting, okay, this is only going to be a trade and then getting out safety, we kept going.
Alright, but let's say I'm just dealing hypotheticals. If I
Okay.
did run time warp there, wouldn't I just win? Like, regardless. Like,
I mean,
like, I don't know. It's kind of irrelevant, but like at the same time.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
just save one.
potentially you could have for sure.
Alright.
But the thing with these kind of like rune decisions, I mean, time warp is a good rune, and if that's what you're kind of more comfortable with always, then sure. But I mean, I also think probably bone plating and revitalize is just better than going it whatsoever, because bone plating on Irelia is great because you want short trades, and your short trades do so much damage. So I think maybe just like go from inspiration a little bit. I mean, the futures market is nice and all, but your power spikes are very like small. Like they're cheap on Irelia, you know. Like one of your insane power spikes is a vampiric scepter, so it's like you don't really need it as much. But I mean, maybe try going bone plate revitalize, because you would have also won this fight massively if you had that too. But in general, the problems just backed out. So here, this was unfortunate timing that Zach came, but it was completely fine because we were reset. Right, so this was actually a big problem with how we played this, though. So here we get the GP. Okay, perfectly fine. Now, so it's to do with your clicks. So, what do you think you should have been looking for in terms of where you clicked, based on what actually happened?
Like you can only go 2 ways.
So yeah, at this moment, he's just walked back into you. Perfect. Because now we can either go this way and hit him like this, or if he goes this way, we can be on this side of him and keep hitting him like this too, which means we kill him 100% of the time if we do that. Now the problem is, what we do is we end up going from here in an advantageous position, and we kind of walk like this around him for some reason, and then that ends up putting us in this kind of position where Like,
Yeah.
we've just clicked all the way down here. So our clicks something we need to work on. Now, if you're in a fight like this and you need more control over your champion,
I was gonna attack you. I misclicked like 100 times that game.
okay. So another thing. So one of the biggest things is actually how much you're moving your mouse. So what's your sensitivity in DPI?
It's so high. Like,
Okay.
actually high.
Okay. We need to get that.
Attacking-
So having it high isn't too bad, but not for now, if that makes sense. I mean, you don't want to be uncomfortable. Like 60 or 70 mouse speed in client is pretty high. Obviously there is some players that play on like I think like 2.8 K DPI, stuff like that. Obviously it is what's comfortable. 2.8 for your skill level is probably too high, to be honest, because this is what's causing stuff like this. Because one of the main things that you need to be doing with your clicks is, so if you need more control over your champion, what should your pattern be with your clicks? If you're looking for controlled play.
Like, slower, like, more patient.
No, not slower, but tighter. So right now, your click is all the way down here. Look how far away that is from your champion. Like, we don't want that because we want to be able to kind of change the way we want to move and stuff like that instantly. So close to your champion is where your click should always be if you're looking for controlled play. Because if, say, your mouse is here, and then you need to kind of sidestep something, you only need to go here, like this little distance, in order to do that, right? Whereas right here, you're clicking here, so you've got to move your mouse from here now all the way to here. Whereas if you were controlled, it's only a little bit further. Do you know what I mean? So these things really help, and once you start kind of tightening up your clicks, then it's great. Now, obviously, this is vice versa because, sorry, the flip side is if we're in, say, laning phase and we're just kind of stood behind our minions looking for a kind of opening, we can click and say over here and over here to kind of make ourselves a bit more predictable. Less predictable with what we're doing, because your clicks are always it's always information that's given. So when we look at the face of any champion, that face will always look towards where has been clicked. So this Zac right now is clicked somewhere on this line because that's where his champion is facing. Same as us, we're looking at this, so it means that that's where we're facing. So it's like in the laning phase, if your champion facing is just kind of random, then they're not going to really be able to predict what you're trying to do. Whereas if you go against a really good player, what they'll do sometimes is they'll see where you've clicked and they'll be like, okay, that's a very aggressive click. That means maybe a jungler's here. Or, you know, like somebody's ganking me, like the support. So this is another one of those kind of micro pieces of information that will really, really help, especially for this push into, obviously, Diamond and ideally things like Masters. But, so see what happened here now, because of how we moved, and especially how we were clicking, he just got away from us.
Yeah.
So he's gone now. Whereas this should have been a free double kill. So this was kind of one of those big kind of errors, sort of. So
I'm just messing with my DPI right now, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine, it's fine. So, just tell me when you're ready.
I'm all good, alright, but...
Yeah. So, right here as well, I think we can actually just force a fight. Because we get full stacks, and even though we spent, like, I still think we're in a position with full stacks where we can just kill him. Oh, I think I actually told you to try and fight him here.
Yeah.
So, we did it way too late. Yeah, way too late, and he was already out. I mean, it looked cool, but it wasn't as practical.
I mean, the wave was fun,
Because now the problem is here as well, you are giving him a potential freeze. So right here, this is really bad that you walk away like this. So your bushes are your safety, and even though you're quite low on mana, we could potentially just walk up and see if we can just try and force a wave in slightly. Especially considering he is kind of in this top side, and then see if we can get it to crash. I mean, it's very risky, but right now you're looking to back anyway, right? So one of the biggest things that people don't take into consideration is people will back when, say, their mana is low, but their HP will be high. Now, you're not looking to fight him in this situation. We're just looking to make sure that the wave is in a good spot and that you can't freeze it. So what we actually want to look to do here is be walking with the wave, get on top of his barrel to last hit it. Now, say for example he takes most of our HP away and we're now left on, say, 100% 100 HP, but our wave is into his tower. That's completely fine because we're resetting anyway, you know. So it's like, use your HP as a resource when you're trying to force a reset to try and get that too, because it's just as much of a resource as your mana to determine when you actually back. So I don't think he... Oh no, so he didn't freeze it at all, which is good for us. Now he's got a slow push, so one of the main things you can take into consideration here is, have you ever heard of the push and pull rule?
I don't think so.
So the push and pull rule is kind of basic fundamental kind of concept of how you should play your lane based on the minion state. So if we set the starting thing as here, so this is obviously the halfway point, what will happen with this wave considering it's in this kind of state?
It's gonna push.
It's going to push into you, yeah, but because it's coming into us, it's not going to push, it's going to pull. Now if a wave is pulling, then it's going to come into us no matter what. So this gold is going to be free to claim no matter what. Now the kind of flip side to that is, if the wave is pulling into us and we take a trade and die, or walk up from a gank, which is what happened here, and die, then we end up kind of in a position where this huge wave that's been stacked up, which can be as much as 3 full waves, will crash into our tower and we'll lose XP and we'll lose the entire lane of losing that XP. So it's like in this situation, okay, sometimes you can kill them, but if you're not 100% certain that you win that fight, just let it pull in, farm it away, and then build your own slow push, and then we get onto the push roll. So if the concept when it's pulling in is to not fight, what do you think it is when we're talking about push? Yeah, so we fight, and the way you want to see it is these minions, so let's say for example this is you, these minions would be kind of like your little herd. They're kind of your you want to protect them for as long as possible and get him into the tower. So as soon as he tries to walk up and claim any of them, you punish him. Now this is something that low elo players just don't really take into consideration, and that's how you can really abuse them in top lane. And this is why you see some top laners that will just completely stomp solo queue, because people don't really take into consideration these concepts when they're playing, or just don't even know they exist. So right here, see, we walk up, but there's nothing to really walk up for, and then we end up getting ganked off it.
Yep. Now he drops, yeah. Right. I got you.
And now he pushes this wave in, and we lose that XP. So it's, and that's a lot of XP as well. So this is a really big thing. Like top lane, like I've said multiple times, is all about slow pushes. So right here, this was a mistake that you nearly started doing. Well, you did start doing it until I told you to stop hitting them. So right here, this GP has already reset. Like, he's already reset. This wave is not even because they've got a HP advantage, but that's good for you as well because it means it'll stay here for a little bit longer. So what you want to do is, using that, you want to basically build up as big of a wave as possible so that you can then, you know, trade with him and fight him around that big wave. So as we can see here, what we do is we instantly resort to pushing it. Now, what's going to happen if we just instantly push this wave?
Gonna get back to, or he's gonna get back before it gets to tower.
Yeah, it's gonna get back before it gets to tower, and you know, we're not really gonna be able to do much about it because he's gonna clear this entire wave with basically one barrel. So there's nothing we can actually do there, which this is one of the things with Gangplank. I will admit he is very difficult to manage waves around in top lane because his barrels are so easy to just clear the waves.
Yeah.
Like, I think Gangplank is one of the strongest champions in the game, to be honest. He's just so difficult that a lot of people don't invest time into him.
I played him in like season 6. I one-tricked him. He's still like my 3rd most played.
I think he's very good. I mean, his ult is global map pressure. He has obviously his team fighting is, he has, I think he has one of the highest damage outputs in team fights. Permanently, because his barrels are insane, and also the fact that they're reworking him, like it's currently on PBE now where his barrels can crit as well. I think that's what they did. Now if you can like chain barrels, you do so much damage, it's unreal, and like you always have influence over the map, and it's great.
Wait, there's a damage amp if the barrel's connected?
Let me have a look exactly.
I mean, I'm down to try playing GP again for sure.
I mean, he's very
Yeah.
difficult, but I mean, Irelia is also good.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
But let's have a look. So,
I don't know.
Gangplank. So he's getting his move speed's getting nerfed off his passive. So it's halved at level 1. His Q now classes as a ranged basic attack. So ranged procs will actually go on it. Also his E, so it benefits from crit strike at 125% effectiveness. And his barrels go from 3 at all ranks to at max rank he gets 5 barrels.
Oh man.
So I think Emax GP is probably going to be insane. And the recharge time is slightly higher late game, but early game it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
So like there's a lot going around about him, and he just one pops people at the moment. So I maybe try him, but obviously, like I said, word of warning, he's extremely difficult.
I probably wouldn't be good, like, but with a couple games, I'd say I definitely used to be okay.
Okay, I mean, maybe try it. But
So I could probably, yeah, I might still see this.
so let's jump back into this one. So here, so this obviously ward's fine, but this is another really big problem. So there's another really big one that comes up here. So here, well, what do you think is the issue here?
You could theoretically freeze it in.
Yeah, so there's a few things. So firstly, we've got this massive gap between the waves. This is because of them auto attacks that we put into the wave previously. That's caused this big gap. So now he can clear this out, and then he can clear this next one. So this is kind of the outcome of that misplay from earlier. And this is one of the things when you're also reviewing your own VODs, is a lot of the times don't focus on exactly this moment, because if we look at this moment, we think, okay, well, something's happened with the minion wave, like, well, I wonder what it could be, but then you're like, okay, well, if something's happened with the minion wave here, how could we have avoided this? So then you go back in the replay a bit and you see why, and then that's how you kind of notice your own kind of errors. But the thing is, here now we actually give him the ability to just clear this wave away, and now we don't really have priority, because what he can do is he can trim that wave off, and then he can just move because it's frozen anyway. So we don't actually have priority there if he plays it properly. Now lucky for us, he just one-shots that wave, but this is, like I was saying earlier, one of those moments that could actually lead to a crucial game ending or lane ending situation. Right, so here we have more than enough to kill him. So I think I told you to go here, purely because right now, like, he's way far from his tower, and when we're playing somebody like Irelia with level 6 coming, like, this is a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
So let's see how you played it. So that was fine. But then this was, yeah.
Time warp and W.
Yeah. So
I should have maybe even rushed executioners too.
I don't think that's an issue. I think you should have just backed out. Because
I was full HP and then
yeah, like you're full HP, you have used your ultimate, sure.
I probably could dive him.
But here we have minions available to jump out to here, get a few autos in, and then that's fine. And then we just queue, but like we just walk away. We don't even need to kind of queue elsewhere, and then we can actually get our stacks on these minions again, and then look to go again. Actually, I think we'd hold our stacks there, because obviously his ult does slow, so it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's one of them situations where instead of just going for a really good trade, you're going for an all-in, and then you're getting a little bit impatient with that all-in. So here as well, when you're farming on the tower too, don't spam the minions, because again, you want to keep them back for as long as possible. So in this situation, you still want a last hit, and then to add on top of that as well, you also want to kind of auto-attack them when the tower's already fired, you know? So then the tower tries to last hit it, you last hit it, and then, you know, it uses up a tower shot, which then allows you to build a much bigger wave, and you can just pop off. Because again, see here, we have a normal wave, which it's at this point, but the further back here you can get the wave, the more it's gonna build up to slow push. Okay, so this is where the Zac came again, and I think we die. So yeah.
Anyway, 'cause I draw my Q. But
Yeah.
I almost kill him, I remember.
Yeah.
And then I get the Zac knockback.
Yeah, so if we didn't drop our Q, we would have probably been fine
I
here.
was kind of just trying to get on him, kind of greedily. I mean, if Zac's not there, I can.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. I mean, he is there though, so we do have to kind of be a bit more careful for jungle.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Zac's annoying shit. Even if I ward, I don't have that much time.
Yeah, and then this, obviously, this is just Irelia doing Irelia things.
Why did I flash, man?
Yeah, I don't know, like...
I'm so toxic, dude, with the emotes, man. It's terrible.
I mean, emotes is fine. It's whatever. So we get a nice reset. This is good. And then, so what do you think's happening with this wave now?
It's frozen.
Well, no, it's coming back to us.
Oh, yeah.
Because, so the thing is with the waves is we have this reinforcement wave coming up. And,
Yes.
you know, even though it does have these, so in order to have a freeze, you need 3 full HP casters in addition to a full wave. So there has to be a full wave there as well. And then that'll freeze. But in this situation, it's going to come back into us eventually. But then that also means that we don't need to do things like TP back, stuff like that. You know, we're completely fine. So here again, we just want to let it come in. Like, there's no reason to force too much here because this is coming back into us anyway. And then we choose whether we want to freeze the wave or do anything with it. Now, this was obviously a bit of an imp by your team. But...
Oh, yeah, I should have just
yeah.
went with them.
So this is the thing. We want to also make sure that we don't fall for really dumb things like this, because due to this we end up turning this from a very good position to a very bad position. Now if we do want to move, what do we want to make sure that we do first?
Push.
No.
Or leave it, or maybe freeze it, I don't know.
Yeah, so if we want to freeze it, what do we need to do?
Hold the casters.
Yeah, we need to trim it down. So right here, even if they are going for this play, this is frozen if we play it right. So what we could look to do is, okay, they're going to go for the play, fair enough. We can maybe see if we can do anything, but we have to trim down first. So what we do is we just leave 4 minions instead of 3, just because they're casters, and, you know, we can come back and then trim it down again at a later point. Just because these are going to get focused. And especially this one there, that first one that you just insta-killed, that one will get focused by all 3 of the casters at the back instantly, so it'd die quick, so we could just keep 4 there just for that purpose. But yeah, so by us instantly clearing it, it means that if this play goes right, okay, we get a kill and we push a single wave in, but if it goes wrong, we don't have this lane-ending state that we want to always look for. Like, always look for. Freezing is more powerful than pushing. And we get this, but at what cost?
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was a little bad, yeah.
Yeah. And then dude, I thought I had R, yeah.
And so the problem is here as well is because the Yi Q'd, so he dropped tower aggro. So he kind of got you killed, but that's just low elo for you.
Yeah.
But now, again, this wave is no longer in a good position for us, which he did burn his TP anyway, so he would have used that no matter what, but that's just because he doesn't know how to use TP properly, so we're not going to really use that, because it's... So the thing is, if we say, okay, well, he TP'd anyway, so it doesn't matter about us ruining that freeze earlier, then that's kind of results-based, and we can't really use results-based analysis if we want to actually help you improve, because it has to be, we do the right things fundamentally at the right points. If that ends up turning into something else, great. If it doesn't, then it will in a different game. Do you get what I mean? So even if it doesn't help you now, it will help you in the future, or if you go against somebody that, you know, has recently studied wave manipulation, things like that. So here, obviously, we get popped. I mean, there's not really that much we can do there, because he dropped Herald. Right, now we're getting into like kind of this mid-game point now, and this
Just
is...
start turboing into
Yeah, so not only the actual deaths, but the way we're playing the map is really, really bad here. So this fight is already a bit scuffed, just because we do have a...
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
So you actually got
No.
CC'd... Oh no, you actually used your second E here.
I did.
Yeah,
It's just probably another misclick.
yeah. And the thing is here anyway, like, we don't want to be anywhere near the Zac. So even if we land our E on the Zac, that's bad, because we want to be on the...
GP.
Yeah. And the thing is, we're fighting there, and how many stacks did we have? 2, was it?
Probably would have. I was trying to put it on GP for sure. Like.
I know,
I don't
there we
know,
go. So we
somehow I
had...
missed it.
Yeah, we only had 2 stacks in this entire fight as well. We're never winning out without full stacks.
Yep.
Right, so here, now, this is one of the first big things. So right here, why do you need priority?
So I can roam in like mid fights.
You're not strong enough to roam yet. You've got 6 deaths, you can't roam yet. And there's no objectives to get right now. So what should we have been looking to do?
Show that top.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know. Freeze maybe.
Just keep it here.
Yeah.
So obviously we want freeze, but we can build up a big wave. We can push it in. We can fight with the wave. If the wave is big enough, we can potentially 1v2. Like if we play it right. If the wave is small, we're not going to be able to. Even though Zac does kind of benefit from the wave. But so right here, our instant response is we're just going to hard push this. But if we're hard pushing this wave over and over, this gold, we may as well just put a bow on it. Like put it in a little box and just give it to him. Because there's no reason to give him this gold for free without being able to fight for it. Now, we can't fight for it while there's no minions. So right here, like if we say need you to go to Herald, then okay, great, because you know we need that pry of Herald, but there's nothing to actually do, and now you're in a position where what are you doing? You just roam about. GP's actually bot,
I was. Yeah, GP.
so now he's just farming fine, and I mean we do get the wolf camp, but these minions are now gonna start dying.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like really afraid most of that.
Yeah, so this is the thing, like, it's not that you're playing afraid, it's that you're not taking into consideration the variables that you need, and I think one of the biggest things with that is I don't think you're looking at your minimap enough. So, your minimap when you're playing top especially, where it's a very slow and controlled lane, is one of the things you need to be looking at the most, because it means that you always get that up-to-date information of where everybody is. Now, one of the things you can do for that is just look down and just, like, as you're just learning it, just count. Count how many people on the map you see, and then use that information to kind of realize who can actually come. Now, here again, we just instantly start pushing it. Now, when you actually lose a tower, what ends up happening is, since they have your top tower, the enemy minions are actually stronger. So they end up getting buffed because they've taken a tower as like a siege bonus. So that means that freezing the wave back here is way easier because the enemy minions are doing more damage and also taking reduced damage. So it means that if you are behind and they've cracked your tower, this is very, very good for you because you can permanently freeze the lane now, and anybody that walks up will die because you'll have so much gold from it, and you're also denying them an entire lane of gold. So your team gets 3 lanes of gold, theirs get 2. So you're basically restricting their gold amount by a massive margin. And then, but then even here, so we don't want to instantly queue that. We want to wait and see what Ash does. Because if she walks up, then we queue it and then we jump on her. Which I think she does. So we do end up killing her off it, but... because I don't know what she thought she was doing here, but... so then here. So first up, this is a lot, again, to do with your clicks. So again, you're going for controlled fights and your clicks are so far away. And like here, so look where your click just was. You just clicked here, then here. And now you're coming down here. But it's very easy for him to just throw something out at you now. Whereas if you were clicking like this, and he throws a Q up here, you can instantly click back and you'll dodge it. So into...
trying to make sure the minion didn't de-aggro because I knew it was my way out.
yeah, but I mean, either way, this was... like your clicks actually were...
I should have just tried to flash, but I don't know. I mean, I think his flash, which is like decent.
Yeah, so here we could have just flashed down anyway and survived.
Yeah, I was like about to. I kind of didn't
Yeah,
expect.
he
him
was
to.
he
I
was
mean,
huge
even
here
then,
though.
Maybe he could E.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he was very strong here though, to be fair.
Yeah. All right.
So this is another kind of. So this is another one of them situations where look who's top, Lux. And there's a wave that's being just melted top. Like all that XP and gold is just being deleted. Now, in terms of XP, XP is the most important stat and the most valuable out of all. So, how much XP do you think you get roughly per level?
Like how much it take to get to a full level?
Yeah, no. So say when you level up, how much do you think you get in gold value for your base stats?
Like 500 maybe.
500. So Irelia is roughly about 640 gold.
640.
Yeah. So what you'll find is a lot of kind of the bruisers. The bruisers will usually have a very, very high amount, purely because they're designed to kind of scale off XP and levels. So yeah, really is a roughly maybe 640 gold, and the average is about 575. So you end up in a position where you will naturally scale based on XP alone. So that's why XP is so important, because it's just so much gold value. And a lot of the stats that you get as well, it's a lot of resistances, which when you're ahead, resistances are even more valuable, because one of the big misconceptions is that, you know, if you start falling behind, you need to build defenses so that you don't die, but that doesn't work, because then you'll never have enough damage to actually get a kill. So unless it's kind of after your core build, in the early stages of the game especially, like you can't have that, you can't build really defenses unless you're very, very ahead, which if you are, great. Which Irelia, early boots are fine, because you do so much damage anyway with your, you know, your kit. But so it means the more levels you get, the tankier you just naturally become.
Acute cannon here.
Yeah,
Wait.
I mean, this
I
was.
was about to flash for Ash.
I mean, yeah, you're reaching a lot, but flashing here would have been bad anyway, because you're flashing for an Ash who's what, 1 for 3.
Yeah, not worth.
I think she's. When you press tab, 2 for 5. So you're never like, it's never worth to use your summoners to kill her.
Yep.
But look at top lane this entire time. So here they couldn't really get in. And I mean, although it looked cool, and if they didn't have Zhonya's, I'm pretty sure you would have killed all of them. She did have Zhonya's, and that shut you down. So, but the main thing again, this side lane is getting completely ruined, and this tower is still available. This tower is still available. That's a considerable amount of gold. We're talking about thousands of gold just sat there waiting for you to take, which is huge. That would get you to your Sundra. So you have to start prioritizing these side lanes. Now, Irelia is very, very good in the side lane. One of the best in the side lane, actually. But the thing is, Gangplank is very strong in a team fight, but he's not as strong in the side lane, especially against you. Especially considering you have such a high base attack range as well. So that's where you need to be. You need to be getting pressure right now, especially considering you've got teleport. So right here, come into a side lane, push it out, reset, go into another side lane, push it out, reset, spend your gold like that.
Yeah, it was only him and Graves on map, so I just we didn't have many.
Yeah.
We had like so little top side vision.
Yeah, so this one's okay. So this is fine because GP shows. But I think if we landed at E, we would have killed him. But
yeah, I expected him to cut the wave, but he cut it to 2.
so this is fine though. And again, this is fine to push out and then just pressure a little bit. Our Thresh is in top side.
Right.
We don't need to be too scared.
Sorry, do you mind if I ask how long this is?
We'll just finish this. We'll just finish this one.
Should I play another game or?
I mean, we could do if you want. It's getting a little bit late. Let's see how long this takes.
Alright.
Just because a lot of these things.
So cute in the background as well.
Yeah. So okay. So this was... I mean, if Thresh lands a hook, it's fine, but he didn't, so it's whatever. Okay. So again, here, he pushes this wave out, and we roam off. So what we want to do is we want to use these bushes. Like, instead of roaming down here, sit in the bush here and just wait to see if anything happens. You might not even know you're there, and you might be able to get an engage on him if, say, Zac shows mid. But by walking down the river here, we don't really do anything. Now, one thing that we want to look to do is if we are on the back foot, we only want to push the wave when it gets to this point. But that's fine, because if we're in the bush and we see it coming, we can walk down and then we can keep it here and then push it out and then sit in the brush again, wait to see if they do it again, and then as soon as GP shows, say, mid, we get this tower, we get another wave, we get the Krug camp, we crash a wave here. So, you know, we want to basically work in, like, baby steps to get to their base as much as possible, and this is one thing we're just not doing right now.
So, hold on. But wouldn't my team just lose the 5v5 and then they'd all just turn on me and I'd get nothing?
What do you mean, sorry? So no, so your reward comes from the amount of minions you get and the amount of minions / XP you deny.
Yeah.
And then if somebody shows, you can just kill them. Because who's going to kill you in a 1v1 situation in the side lane? Like,
No one.
yeah, exactly. That's the...
If I don't walk for a fight, like my team kind of looks like they might start to fight here. If I don't walk for that and they lose, then I just get nothing.
But no, you don't, because you've already got all the minions and all the XP, and also they can't really siege because...
I get something, but I get a lot less than...
yeah, but but the thing is, it's high variance versus low variance. So in terms of like, if we go for this and we get this tower, this and this, and we get, say, 300 gold off that, then great, you know, that's basically a full kill that we've got for free, and we've also denied them a full kill of minions too. So unless we go to that fight and we get a double kill or a triple kill, then it's not really worth. Now, if we do go and we do get them, great, but we also have teleport, so we can get into a fight as well if it does look good for us. So we can keep kind of side laning, and then if a fight looks good enough that we can get in and kind of clean up, then we can look to TP to it. But where our main goal is to A, get this first tower, because that's very important that we get that, and B, to just farm up until our spikes. Like, we're so close to Sundra right now, and we're looking to fight with 1600 gold on us. Like, that's never a good idea, because that's 1600 gold damage more you could have. And then they overgreed here. I don't know, we do get a kill or two, right? No, so this is actually the where we kind of griefed it, because right now, okay, they're back there, whatever, Zaxxon is passive and Gangplank's really low, so there's 2 kills for you right by here, or there's 2, well, I mean, this isn't kills, like they're 75% HP, so it's kind of like we chase them instead of just killing these.
I mean, but yeah,
otherwise that would have been a good teleport.
But then, I mean, did they just kill me straight up? No, I think they sent someone else for me.
So here, our goal should have been to just kill them and then turn on the Graves.
Where even is Graves? Oh, Graves is flanking. I
Yeah.
see. He killed a Jin. Oh.
Yeah. And then we chase these down, and like we just get Zhonya'd again, and then we just die. Yeah.
Right.
So this is the thing, we need to choose who we're going to prioritize in these fights, because if you would have actually gone on the GP and the Zac there, this would have been a very good TP, because I think you could have potentially killed Zac too, Graves too. But because we didn't, then it ends up being a really bad play. Right, so now this was where we died here. I think we were just we were kind of slow with our combo here. So the Thresh Hook missed, and he's going to get rid of our cleanse anyway, our E anyway. So I think just going for this in general was just kind of bad. So as soon as Thresh misses our hook, that's a crucial ability in this fight, so we should just leave at that point. Especially considering we don't see them. If we could see them on the map, fine, but we couldn't, so... But I do think these are desperation plays, and what you'll find is if we focus on this side lane pressure, it'll be less desperation plays and more just kind of understanding how we're going to get our gold. Like, you'd be so surprised at how much you get from side lanes. Like, here, you were going to look to move up mid, and we said, no, stay in the side lane, and you get so much of it. Even here, when you try moving, this is bad. because there's so much pressure, and we saw, I think, so Zac and GP are dead, and Graves is mid. So right now, the only options to come bot are Ashe and Lux, and we can kill them both 1v2 if we play it right. Especially considering we've got our Sundra now too.
Yeah.
But instead, we waste all this time walking up mid, and then she gets to farm for free, and then we come down, and then next up, we also make the mistake of, look how this wave is right now. Like, there's no Baron, there's no nothing. We could have just looked to potentially freeze this one too. I mean, it's not too bad that you push this, because we already have 2 items, and we're at our core. So pushing it is okay here, but that's just another option we could have had. But we should have just pushed it from the start. And now, right here, Graves is shown. So now we just walk through the jungle, check this camp, check wolves, which we didn't do, and then we come to walk to this dragon.
Alright. Is it okay about you in the background?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, cool.
So again here, we have this side lane pressure, where we should just be here pushing this out. Graves is mid, but we want to just keep pushing. I mean, as soon as we see them, that is. So as soon as we see Ashe there, we keep push. And Zac too. The only thing we did have to be careful for, and we did need to sit in the brush for a second, is if you look on the mini-map here, and this is where you have to pay more attention to the map too, we actually see that cone?
Okay.
So we know somebody is there.
I saw that. Did I go to push it out? Yeah.
Oh, no, this is fine because they showed on mid. And now, yeah, we just go and recall in this bush, and I think the GP stopped us.
Yep.
So we did also hesitate. As soon as that happens, we just run. We just put our E in a way. So say for example, if we have our E right here, we just throw it like this. Because he's either going to walk into it and have to use his W, or if he hasn't got his W, he gets stunned, or he's going to have to stay here or walk back, which means we get more space.
Yeah. Doesn't Zac just come?
Yeah, Zac ends up coming because we turn back.
I wouldn't have lived there anyway, though.
Maybe not, but... Alright, so... I'm not sure what... Oh, so here as well, so this is the other thing. Like, this siege is never going to happen because GP is going to keep just clearing the waves. So you need to siege them on 2 lanes. So you just go bot and push that in. If your team gets an in-hit, great. If they don't, then you're going to get towers and gold anyway. Like, never let gold in a side lane go to waste. Because the enemy team will do that permanently. And they'll aram it out all the time. And then, you know, you'll end up losing based on that. Here, again, the only real thing I can tell you is you should have just left the Jhin instead of trying to help him.
Yeah, sure.
Or use your flash to get over the wall as well to get out.
Yeah, Graves just...
Then obviously this is the part where they start sieging and we end up winning. Also, we end up pushing it into them for them to... So this fight, to be honest, we should have probably just jumped on Ashe instantly. And just looked for the kills here because the minions are gone anyway, right? So we may as well just get the kills. And then continue the siege anyway. But then we ended up dying. Yeah, we couldn't get out of here. And then this is where they push it in again. Again, so this is really important at this stage of the game as well. You have to push these side lanes out. Because the fact that they've got an inhib mid means that bot lane is okay right now because it's in their half. But top is... They could use this wave to siege. So we have to make sure that we go and push this out as much as we can. And then, yeah, we end up killing everyone, and then we end up winning the game. So, yeah. So, like I said, there was a lot from this game. And so, yeah, we'll end this recording now, and we'll do the next one.